Have you ever wondered what God's name looks like in its oldest written form? Well, hang on and I'll show you what it looks like. To begin with, what most people know about is image 1 here, how God's name appears in the Hebrew Bible, and this appears from 607 BCE up until our present day. Before that, before the Jews went into captivity in Babylon, it looked like this. This is how it looked from the 7th century BCE, or about 2,700 years ago, in archaic Hebrew. So this is how it looked before the Jews went into exile in Babylon. How did it look before that? Well, here we see in this image, this is Yahweh in Akkadian, or the Babylonian language, using the cuneiform script. Yahweh was written on cuneiform tablets earlier than 796 BCE, or about 3,900 years ago. These are the tablets that it was written on. These tablets on which Yahweh is written, they date back to the time of the father of Hammurabi, prior to 1796 BCE, or about 3,900 years ago. In his book, Babel and the Bible of 1902, Friedrich Delitzsch said on page 61 to 62 that there are 3 tablets dating to the time of the father of Hammurabi. And in his book, he shows this depiction of what's on those stone tablets, those cuneiform writings on those clay tablets. And we see here in cuneiform, and he broke it out into the phonetics, Yahweh. And here are the 3 characters used, and I will talk a little bit more about that. In his book, Babel and Bible, Delitzsch, Friedrich, 1850 to 1922, and here's a direct link you can follow. I can click on it, you can see it. This is what it looks like when you go there. This is the page that I'm drawing my information from. So back to here. It says probably one of the greatest cuneiformists of the 20th century is Friedrich Delitzsch. In his book Babel and Bible of 1902, translated by Thomas J. McCormick in English, of which a copy online is here, he said on page 61 to 62 that there are 3 tablets dating to the time of the father of Hammurabi. And here we see a little bit more of it. Here we see he broke down, evidently there was more than one way to say Yahweh. Here we see Yahweh Elu, and Elu is the Babylonian word for is God. And here we see another way of pronouncing it. So it was pronounced 2 different ways. And here's a few more notes about it. Of course, El was the word for God, and so he's explaining that here. And of course, this is a little bit of information about the Code of Hammurabi. A lot of us have heard about Hammurabi. He was in Babylon, and he lived from 1755 to 1750 BCE, and he wrote a legal code that is world famous. Now, I didn't just take his word for that, so I looked it up in English Akkadian dictionaries. Here it is, Yahweh, and the 3 characters. The first one is Yah, and just to verify that, here is the sign, Yah, and we see there it is, I found it in the Akkadian dictionary. And we see here its use. Here are some links that you can follow. This is Jehoash, which the first part of Jehoash is God's name. And there you see that they're using the Yah symbol in cuneiform. And there's another name, Judah. There's the cuneiform for Judah, and here's a reference for that. So the first character he gave me was in fact correct. That is the right letter. And by the way, cuneiform is there are literally thousands of cuneiform letters. They vary slightly from place to place for the same usage. So there's going to be some variation in how these symbols show up. That was the first character. The third character, Ve or Way, we can see here from a Babylonian alphabet that I found online, and there you see the third character right here, the W, Way. And also you see the first character too, Yah. There it is, Yah. You see Yah also appears there. So those two characters are verified. The last character, the second one, back to, you see Ah is the second character. Ah, Old Babylonian sign list. I did find it in there, and I verified it also. There's a little closer blow up again. These kind of vary, these characters do, but it does match his description. So he was telling the truth here. Again, we see Yahweh, Elu is God. And just to verify, that last character is God. It's well known among the cuneiform community that the word is God. This is that symbol. Here you see it. Is God. These are different ways of saying is God in cuneiform. So that part checked out, no problem. If you like this video, please share it with others and like it. Thank you guys, and that's all for tonight.